Good day, guitar community. Today we have another episode of Guitars Review, and to be honest with you, I'm trying to make as many videos as I can with what I have. And today we're going to compare side by side two beautiful Strats made in Mexico and made in America, Fender Stratocasters, and see if they differ construction-wise, color-wise, and so on. As a guitar nerd, I like to think that all guitars are made identically, but unfortunately they're not. And of course, made in Japan, made in Mexico, or made in America versions, they do differ. And today we'll have a look at some items that differ one guitar from another. Will not be sound checking nothing, because it's not going to be fair. This made in Mexico Strat, it has been upgraded with custom 69 Tex-Mex pickups, so I'm pretty sure that these two guitars will sound identically. But anyways, let me just give you some I don't know, thoughts, or maybe some items to think about. Okay, let's go ahead. So this is made in America, original 60s Stratocaster, and on the right we have a made in Mexico Vintera 60s modified Strat. So what I like about this particular instrument, and why this instrument differs from this one, is that it has 2-point tremor system. I find this system more stable, to be honest with you, but on the other hand, I like the 6-point synchronized tremor, because it's a it's a standard thing, it's a traditional thing. I just like the way it looks, and I like the way it's constructed. Basically, I'm an old school guy, not old, but I like to stick to traditions. So the 2-point trem on the Vintera 60s modified is a really cool thing. I like it. It's more stable. Basically, some of you know that if you set this thing right, the 6-point tremor system, it does have stability, but you need to know how to set this up properly. Next, the scratch plate. On both Strats we have 3-ply mint green scratch plate, but for some reason I like the Mexican scratch plate color better than the American one. I think it's more darker, and I think it matches this color better than this one. And if you have a look at the color of the pickup covers, they are more darker, and I think they fit this guitar better. I swapped nothing out yet, and I'm not going to, but I'm just telling what I think. The big difference in the scratch plate is the dislocation of this screw. Have a look at this screw. It is located to the neck pickup mounting screw really close. But if you have a look at the American version, this screw is located at much more far distance opposed to this screw. This is the 11 screw scratch plate, by the way. So this is the main difference in the scratch plate mounting holes. Yeah. Other than that, everything is pretty standard. Another difference is the inlays. The American one, it has got really wide, bigger in diameter inlays, which I like better than the Mexican one. So these inlays, they are smaller in size, yeah. And if you have a look at the 12th fret, let me zoom in. I like the narrow spacing in between two two dots on the 12th fret. I found it aesthetically correct, or error correct, I would say, and I don't like it when the dots, they are located really far away from each other. But this doesn't affect the sound anyways. And I don't know if you can see it or not. The Power Ferro fingerboard, of course, is brighter in color than the rosewood, and I personally prefer the rosewood to Power Ferro. Anyway, it doesn't affect the sound, but I think it's just it's not even the feeling, I guess. It's just the eye catching the color difference. Okay, the headstocks. Construction-wise, they are pretty similar. The difference that I observe is that this corner over here on the Mexican model, it's more sharp, and on American-made original 60s Strat, this kind of corner is rounded, and I really like the rounded edges, especially on vintage instruments, because aesthetically they look better than the modern instruments. Let me explain it to you in a more detailed way when we flip the headstocks to the back side. But let us finish. The string tree on the American one, American original 60s, we have a string tree under the 5th tuner, and on the Mexican one we have a string tree in between the 5th and the 4th tuner. Yeah, and let me flip the headstock so you can see what I'm talking about when I want to discuss the round edges. I really like it when they replicate that detail. Yeah, so if you have a look at the Mexican model, you can see that this edge over here and this edge over here, it's almost 90 degrees. You got this curve over here, and it's not a pleasant thing to look at. Where the vintage models, they have rounded edges over here. This one, by the way, still has some kind of 90-degree edge, and if it was more smooth at this area or this area, it would look more authentically correct. Well, 6-in-line tuners, nothing special about that. Okay, again, I don't know if this information is going to be helpful for you guys or not, but as a guitar nerd, I like to capture things like that. So I'm holding the guitars. If you look at the Mexican model, we can observe some gap over here. It comes down to craftsmanship, and I hate just to see things like that. Where the American version, it has a flush, I would say, snug, really tight fit over here. To me, it's a focal point because when the neck joins the body, it should be a really tight joint for the guitar tone. This is my believing. So again, I hate things like that. Maybe it's just the edge. Maybe it's just the edge that was rolled off or smooth, I don't know, which expose some gap in between the neck and the body. But to me, it is saying that the neck joint is not 100% solid. Other than that, there is no quite differences in thickness of the body. I can observe also some contour changes over here and over here. So on the American one, the shoulder over here is more like 90 degrees, where the made in Mexico model has got like like almost 45 degrees shoulder. I don't know guys if you can see it or not, but there are some differences in the body contour. On the right side, this is made in Mexico Strat, and on the left side it's made in America Strat. So on the first discrepancy, I can see beginning from this contour. So if you look at the Mexican version, this part is really thick, where the American body starts to curve over here, and we can see that the American version has got really thin area at the belly cut over here, right in the middle, maybe lower than the middle, where the Mexican version is still remains thick all the way from up to the bottom. Yeah. And at the back, you can see that the Mexican body over here is thicker than the American one. And the width, the thickness wise, the body remains the same. I can also notice one tiny thing. There is also one tiny thing that is different from the Mexican one, if we're talking about the American Strat, that the strap button is not really at the center, it is close to this edge, where the Mexican one, the strap button is located right in the middle. That's an interesting fact. That's about it for today, guys, and don't be paying a lot of attention on the differences between made in Mexico instruments and made in America instruments, or made in Japan instruments. If the instrument brings you joy, I think it's worth playing. So this is all that matters. Of course, if the instrument is playable. So if your instrument is not the same as the others, I think it's yours, it's authentic, so you still need to play it. Well, for today, this is it. So, dream, guys, take care of yourself, and make some music, shine some music to the world. Let's rock. Okay, see you maybe tomorrow or the day after tomorrow with another review. Bye.